Namaskar, everyone. Welcome to Sunday. I've been saying to you that you're a spiritual being in a human experience. But I don't want it to just be an idea in your head. Even if you resonate with it, I don't want it to be an idea in your head. Or in your mind. I want it to be a truth, a realization. For me, it has been a phenomenal realization at 21. Phenomenal. It changed my life completely. That I could be aware that I'm a spiritual being, or an energy being, or a being of light, whilst in this body. And from then, I began to see the body as a human animal. I didn't have that before. I was the animal. I was totally identified with the animal, and I struggled with the animal instincts and behavior. I knew that I wasn't an animal, but I couldn't feel otherwise. I was an animal. But Shaktipat in the Guru's ashram woke me up. The subtle body awareness. And I was the happiest person. Then I became freed. Not completely from the animal instincts, from the primal instincts. I became free because I was able to see it. I was able to distinguish between animal behavior and spiritual behavior. Between the animal impulse in the body and the spiritual impulse of the soul, I was able to see it. And that helped me enormously. Especially for the sexual power in the human being, because I felt it was base power, it was just humanly driven. I didn't feel totally comfortable with having this sexual power in the human body, because my morality was judgmental in that respect, because I judged myself and I felt impure when sexual thoughts would come into the body. And of course, the body is a young body. I became very ashamed of those feelings. But in Shaktipat, I was free of that. I began to see the difference between the human animal and the soul. And what happened then was incredible, because I had the opening of the heart. And the opening of the heart gave me power to move energetically, the power to feel that I was moving in energy. So I felt that my actions were energetic. My walking, my speaking, my singing, my movement. And that got me into a different field, because in that, the sexual instinct of the body is not there. The body is no longer primal. It can spiritualize that part of me. And that became huge. Because I found myself spiritualizing all the human instincts. The eating, the hunger, being territorial, wanting to command in a physical sense. I began to lose that. And that was huge for me. Spiritualizing the human instincts. So even when the body likes a certain food, the body becomes programmed to the sweets and to the other things. I watch it and say, no, we're not going there. We're not going there. This is bad for you. Because when the body becomes habituated to the lower instincts, it's like the body is programmed. And it will pull you if your mind is not strong. It'll pull you into sexuality, because the sacral chakra is sex and taste, food. So when you weaken the sacral energy, those are the two things you get caught up in. But when you have the awareness, you will be able to spiritualize those instincts. And that's what I could change my diet into anything I want to, not an issue. I could take the bitterest medicine, not an issue. Because I can feel it, I can see the difference, and I like that. But the power to command the mind. Didn't come yet because my mind could still be second-guessing, restless, even though I could feel this beautiful energy of the heart. The security of the mind and the power of the mind came only when I could feel Mana's power. Then I learned to bring the mind to focus. And then I was able to control the energies along the spinal column with Mana's power. So that happened just before I left India, in my first visit. And that was heaven, because now I could focus. Not only could I love, but I could focus. And when I came back to Trinidad, it was, wow. I was detached from the world. I didn't want to live the human experience. I wanted to run away from it. I wanted to find the truth of my being. And so I ran away from the world. That's how I went to India. But when I came back, with this new spiritual awareness, I was able to engage in the world. Because I became detached from my family, the people who were dearest to me. I had to leave them. And I left them in such a way, When I left Trinidad in 1975, I left an independence day of the country. August 31st. I took my bag. I never waved goodbye. I wasn't happy. I left as a lost soul. Couldn't love, couldn't relate to the human experience. That's how I left Trinidad. I took my bag, it's a small bag. And as I told you, I had 3 suits of clothes, I had a towel, I had a mat, and other little accessories, but the bag was small. No, I could never travel in a bag like that. And I held the bag, and I walked down. Those of you who know the hill from my family house, I walked down that hill, never looked back, never looked back. Took taxis to the airport, and that was it. It was only after Baba Muktananda's ashram when I felt this release, and I felt this spiritual engagement. That's when I wrote a card, saying that I'm okay, that I found a place, that I'm happy. And that was the first time I wrote loving words back to home. And when I had to make a decision after 4 months, because I wouldn't have money to come back to Trinidad, I had to make a decision after 4 months whether I want to stay in India or leave. And I made a decision simply based on the power of Shaktipat that I had and the higher realization that I had. When I came back to the country, oh my God, I couldn't be more happy. I began to engage in the world differently, 100% differently. I began to enjoy the human experience. And I was beginning to have the power to spiritualize the human experience. I became a different person. A lot of people would say that he was always a humble person or always a loving person. Before that, yes, I was, because that was my aspiration, to know myself and to be humanitarian. But when I came back, it was a different engagement. Total loving engagement. I became very loving to all, very accommodating, and my life became a life of service. I would give tuition, I would counsel students. I spent time with them, I taught them meditation, I would have little meditation classes and be singing with them. And life became a complete joy. I didn't think of going back to India. I was just so happy at that stage. And then the person who I went to in India, I went to deliver a letter actually to Baba Muktananda's ashram, and I stayed. I was captivated by the ashram. That person, she's the one who said to me 2 years after, I'm at my happy self, I was totally fine. She said, why did you come to the ashram? That there's a course that is happening now, and you should come. And Baba Muktananda is there, you will meet him. And of course, when I put my mind on it, oh my God, I began to feel missing the ashram and say, oh my God, I want to go back. I want to go back. And it was just in the August vacation for teaching, so I was happy. And I left the moment the school finished. I left for India, and I completed the course. But it was that invitation brought me back to India. It was magical because I absolutely loved the course. I loved being around Baba Muktananda, although it was challenging because I couldn't relate to the human being. I was relating to this power inside. But I learned that it is the Kundalini that can make you appreciate the value of the Guru. Because the first week I couldn't relate to his human form, but I moved away from it in the meetings with him. I moved away from it and I focused on Kundalini. And when I did, I feel bonded with his Kundalini energy. So I saw him not as a human being, but one who lives in this beautiful energy that I was beginning to live in. And I said, that's what I want to be like. That's what I want to be like. Masterful. And so I kept my eye just on that, the Kundalini. Kundalini became the Guru. She became the bridge between me and the outer Guru. And wow, I couldn't ask for more. I left India totally blessed. Totally blessed. And when I came back, it was only 7 months after that the 40 days happened. So it was an incredible experience of learning to spiritualize the human body. And after the 40 days, well, I was completely not the human body. Distinction was clear as daylight. And I couldn't do the things I did before. The happy person who came back from India, I couldn't be that. I was just indifferent to everything. I didn't know what to do. It took me months before I learned how to acclimatize again to an ordinary life. And then I learned how to channel energies through my body. Even though being detached, I learned to channel energies through my body. And then I realized that that is the Shambhavi Mudra. That you can channel energy through the body, to every part of the body, to everything around you, while still staying centered in the inner space. So that was the gift that I got from the 40 days, the power of the Shambhavi Mudra. And also, of course, the experience of Sahaja Samadhi, that I could be engaged in the world while still in this ecstatic space of the self. So those were the gifts of the 40 days, totally detached from the body. So I lived the human experience with such joy and able to see the animal nature of the human body so clear, but to revel in my divine nature as I spiritualize the human body. So I love to eat, I love to exercise, I love to move, I love to speak, I love to be personable, I love nature, I love community, I love all the senses, because they no longer control me. I have learned how to master them, and that is the beauty of spiritualizing the human being and living the human experience. So I wish that for you, that you can become more awakened to your spiritual being and that you can really master the human experience and control the primal instincts of the body. That's the joy that I have since 23 years. That's the joy that I have. That was the gift for my 23rd birthday. And in August, this body will be 70, and that joy is still there. The reason why I can engage beautifully with an aging body and I can feel the effects of aging, it is only because of that energy inside of me that can spiritualize this body and keep it alive and bright and youthful and vital. Kundalini, Kundalini, Kundalini. So that's why I wish for you the awakening of this beautiful energy within you. And I wish that you can have the same experiences that I have and have had. It makes the human experience worth living. So I'll leave you with that blessing. I want to wish you a happy Sunday, everybody. It's already started beautifully, and I just love being with you. I absolutely love the human experience, and I love serving humanity in the ways that matter. We need a better world. We need a more conscious world, and we need a more united world. And that's what the Blue Sky is working on. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed Sunday. My soul bows to you. Namaskar.